I think we're going to see inflation start to slowly rise again. I think the economy is going to surprise people to the upside as well. And as people start to actually believe, like, oh my gosh, maybe Trump's actually going to pull this off. Maybe it's not as bad as we think, right? The left is just losing their minds about how terrible it's going to be. And I think like the truth is always somewhere in the middle. It's not going to be perfect, and he's not playing 5D chess. He's not quite that smart. It's not the end of the world. He's not trying to start World War III right now, and a dictator who's trying to destroy the economy. The truth is kind of somewhere in the middle. And I think as more and more people kind of get off that extreme fear and start to believe in the market, there's a huge amount of cash sitting in money markets right now. And I think a lot of US investors are going to push money back into US stocks. And then global assets, getting back to our global theme earlier, we're going to see Bitcoin take the majority stake of that. And then as well as this nonsense crypto stuff and these other Bitcoin proxies, I think are going to do well. And as we get towards the end of the bull market, we see that exponential rise. We see leverage just go, full tilt basically, and all that stuff will go parabolic. And that will be the time to start getting a little bit concerned. We're nowhere near that
So
right now.
Yeah, and that's, I know it was last year, even earlier this year, your thought was always, 450, 475 by the end of this year. Is that where you're kind of alluding to, that maybe it goes into quarter one, quarter two next year? Like, how do you see that unfolding?
Because they sort of, I don't really know how to describe it, but or sorry, you play hockey, so it's sort of like a hockey player going out with the puck, and some dude just comes out of nowhere and just checks him into the board, just crushes them right into the boards, and like that's what happened to the economy. It was starting to recover, starting to do well, and the dude just got hammered. But now he's getting back up, and he got the puck again, and he's heading towards towards the net. I think that's what's going to happen. So I think we're going to see economic surprise to the upside going forward. Because of this huge check that took the dude out, does that mean that the cycle got actually delayed, or will it make up for lost time? That's the part I don't know yet. So we either make up for lost time and we still have this amazing surge into the fourth quarter. I'm still kind of sticking with by the way, I don't care about my predictions. Like a lot of people tell me I'm crazy, I'm too low or too high. I don't care. I'm just saying it's possible in my mind that probability speaking, if we have this great economy mixed with global M2 increasing and the dollar not too strong at that point, we could see 475. If it gets pushed into the first quarter of 2026 or even the second quarter, I would actually increase my price targets up to more like 500,000-600,000. But I don't even like making those predictions because I'm as a fund manager, I don't care about any of these predictions. What I do is I follow the momentum and follow the trends, and if it changes, I'll change. And if it does extend, then I'll stay long all of these things. And personally, as we get further into this cycle, I will probably take more positions in these sort of Bitcoin proxies, things that aren't necessarily great businesses, but these are the things that get hyped during a bull market. As people start to throw on levers, they tend to do very well. So I'm looking for those things to even outperform Bitcoin for that little time period.
I think that's going to be fascinating. I truly do, Doc. I mean, it's just when you have these, like you said, these companies that are riding Bitcoin. I mean, like what better world can you live in as a crypto, or gambler, or like whatever you're trying to do, or I don't know, you just don't have much wealth and you're trying to get ahead. I mean, boy, what a better play to, like, hey, if you're going to do it, you might as well go in a Bitcoin company or that's buying Bitcoin, and that's your levered play. It's pretty wild. I mean, like it's incredible. It's not like we're saying that either one of us to go do that, necessarily, right? Like that you got to study, do your own homework, do your thing. But that to me is going to suck so much away from the crypto world and some of these other things like you noted. So that's going to be incredible. You touched on it as well. Do you think the 4-year Bitcoin cycle is over? Like, does it kind of break this cycle? Like, how do you see that unfolding as we move forward?
Well, so that's an important distinguisher. I don't believe in the 4-year halving cycle as having an effect on the price of Bitcoin. I think it did initially, but I think people are fooled by that. The fact that halving cycle it's a little less than 4 years, right? It's about 3 years, 11 months or so, and it's getting shorter and shorter. We see the halving happening like a month earlier every 4 years or so. That's just how it works. I don't believe in that. I believe that Bitcoin is a global macro asset. So it moves on global liquidity flows. It moves on dollar strength or whatever the reserve asset is and the reserve currency is. Those things move Bitcoin in business cycles. So I think all Bitcoin was doing, and it's very clear when you look at different charts, it's following the business cycle and it's following global M2. And so if the business cycle and global M2 get extended, then I think the Bitcoin price cycle will get extended and the bull market will get extended. If it's cut short, it'll get cut short. So that's how I look at it.
Interesting. Do you think that, I mean, God loves Samson. Some of these people, it's going to a million. It's going to a million. Is that, I mean, is that possible? I mean, with Bitcoin, anything's possible, I guess, right? So like how do you see that over the next, 6-12 months is hitting $1 million as there's just more funny games going on. There's just things outside of just in the macro landscape. Is that a possibility? I mean, it could it end up at 100 or 200 and that's kind of where we are for another year from now, or could it be at $1 million? Is there, where do you, I'm trying to think of the best way to say it. Like, what's your kind of range, I guess? Like, what are the potential ranges? I guess that's maybe the best way to say it.
Yeah, so I think 475 is kind of my highest probability target if we have
Okay.
this peak cycle in Q4.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but that's based on this range, right? So I have a range of
Yeah.
about 250,000 to actually about 800,000.
Okay.
That's my highest probability range. I'd say there's like an 80%
Mm-hmm.
chance it falls in that range. These peripheral things can happen, right? Maybe it's super disappointing. Maybe, there are terrible things that happen to the economy and
Yep.
global liquidity dries up and we don't even get to 200K. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very unlikely. It's also possible that the economy just revs up and everybody just thinks, oh my gosh, Trump actually was playing 4D chess. He's a genius. And the economy rips higher, and we see it being reflected in the ISM, these databases that reflect how the economy is doing, manufacturing services. If those just rip alongside of monetary supply ripping higher, yeah, we could go to 1 million. I would be very suspect though at that point, right? If we go parabolic and I look at my factors and I say leverage is off the charts right now, the economy is smoking hot right now. All it can do is roll over and go down from here. All of that global liquidity can do is roll over and go down from here. I would be very concerned about putting on new Bitcoin positions if Bitcoin actually does reach 1 million. It definitely won't be a permanent plateau. I am not a
Mm-hmm.
Plan B supporter, of these tiers where I think his next level is like, geez, I don't follow it enough now, 5 or 600,000 or 400, somewhere in there. And he
And
talks
that's the
about
new
that new
baseline.
plateau. I
Yeah.
definitely don't think that's going to be a new plateau. I think we spike, and unless something changes, so that's how I am with all of my stuff and with my investments. I'm a believer in patterns until the pattern changes. So until the pattern changes, I think we're going to get another parabolic move to Bitcoin. In Bitcoin could go anywhere between 200,000 and 1 million. Sure, could it pop above 1 million? Sure. Low probability of that happening. I think I'm not on Samson's camp that it's like inevitable, or David Bailey that it's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
They're way too optimistic for me. I'm too much of a realist. It could, but then I think it's going to come way down if it does that. So, I'll adjust accordingly if that happens.
So because we brought up Samson, the other question I have to you is makes me think of it is, do we see, his Omega candle moving 100 grand in a day? Do you think that happens before we get to 1 million, or is that something that's going to be after 1 million that would happen?
I think it's possible that it happens this cycle. I think if everything is in place, like these things I'm talking about, if the economy is
Mm-hmm.
just red hot and liquidity is red hot and the dollar is remaining subdued, could we get 100,000 move this cycle? I actually think it's possible. I don't think it's likely though. I'd give it like a 1% chance. Also, that's about the same possibility. Like I could see it going from 900K to 1 million on the very final day of the bull market, and I would be
Mm,
very concerned at that point that we have reached the peak of this current cycle if that happens.
yeah. What price do you think we go? No bid. I've asked a few people this over the last, I don't know, month or two. And what point do we go no bid in the sense of people won't accept dollars for Bitcoin anymore? Like where do you see that unfolding, that unpacking? Like at what point is society just kind of like, I mean, we talked about it earlier with, like you said, people are not trusting the United States as much anymore. Obviously the bonds aren't being purchased like they were for a long time. People are kind of backing away and being like, oh, they're slowly, tiptoeing back the other direction. Be like, I don't know what's going on here. When do people start doing that? Just with the dollar in general, and you're trying to, get in and out of Bitcoin or something, and people are like, I'm not doing that anymore. Where do you see that unfolding?
I don't think that happens anytime soon. I hear prominent people calling for the dollar to basically collapse. and we have hyper-Bitcoinization in the next 10 years or less, I'm not in that camp at all. I think the dollar will remain one of the world's dominant currencies for quite a while, for decades. The only thing that I could see happening is we get into World War III and the U.S. borrows just obscene amounts of money. Like we blow out, we think the deficit is blown out right now. We blow it out by like 5 or 10x.
If you like that clip, then you definitely got to check out this next spicy clip. I think you're really going to like it. Come on, check it out. But if you want the full version, the full interview, then check that out over here. Come on, do it. I'll see you in there.